What? What is going on, everybody? My name is Edward Rouse, and welcome to Wednesday Night Rants. Yes, that's right. We are back again. I know we had a week off. I was on vacation. I was traveling California. Went up to Sonoma, got myself some Lagunitas Brewing Company in my system, and had a little summer vacation as I do every year around the same time for my beautiful and wonderful wife's birthday and / anniversary. So quite the time that we had. But a lot has happened since then, as always. It always does, doesn't it? A lot happens in 1 week in the sporting world, especially this type of year or time of year as we get closer to the NFL football season. We had the Hall of Fame game, which if you didn't watch, well, then kudos to you, because it was quite terrible. It was pretty much all backups. Drew Lock was terrible. Joe Flacco didn't play, but Drew Lock and Joe Flacco are pretty much the same person, I feel. It's like that Spider-Man meme when they look at each other and go, that's Drew Lock and Joe Flacco. Except one's 10 years younger. But anyways, let's move on to it, shall we? P.S. We are doing the Wednesday Night Rants Fantasy Football League, and we're going to move it up to 14 people. We will be doing the live draft on a Friday night at the end of this month. It'll be live for an hour and a half or until Facebook tells us we can't do it anymore. Kind of like last year. And hopefully Anthony Zaragoza, who is my guest tonight, by the way, long time coming. It's been a month. Welcome back, Anthony. We'll talk to him soon. Hopefully we'll say something really stupid like he always does, and I will hit him in the face with a red vine. That's pretty much how the draft goes. Like I always say, though, it's not how you draft in fantasy football. It's how you finish. I don't know if, I got to go this way. Let's see all those trophies back there. Those are all from finishing and not from drafting. Get with the program, people. Speaking of fantasy football and people really sucking right now. Well, not sucking, but pretty much sucking the fun out of your drafts, if you would. Holdouts are real. Yes, they are, and we talked about it a few weeks ago, and they're still there. Zeke Elliott is getting worse. He's saying he ain't going to play unless you pay him. Don't know why. He's not a great person off the field. Yes, on the field, but I think it takes two to tango. You got to be off the field and on the field to deserve money. Melvin Gordon, not getting enough. And like I said, yes, what he's getting paid right now is terrible. Absolutely horrendous what Melvin Gordon is getting paid. He's right in between Rashad Penny and Damian Williams on the list. Yes, Rashad Penny and Damian Williams. Rex Burkhead is going to make more money than Melvin Gordon this season, as it stands now. Now, do I think he deserves what he's asking per year? Now, I've heard that he's turned down $10 million a year from the Chargers, which would be the fourth highest paid running back in the NFL. The fourth, behind Todd Gurley, injury problems. Le'Veon Bell, we all know what happened there. Also, 27 going on 28. David Johnson, injury problems. And so then it would be Melvin Gordon if he accepted the deal, followed by Devontae Freeman, injury problems. LaShawn McCoy, injury problems. Saquon Barkley, hopefully not injury problems for all you dynasty players out there. Jerick McKinnon, injury problems. Leonard Fournette, that happened. Injury problems. Lamar Miller, injury problems. Then Zeke Elliott. I think you're right where you need to be right now. How about you not push security guards over at concerts while you're drunk or touch women? And maybe you deserve to be paid a little bit more. Melvin Gordon, I understand why he thinks he needs to be the top paid where Todd Gurley is or Le'Veon Bell. I have no idea because he doesn't, because he has injury problems of his own. He hasn't even completed a full season of the NFL yet. There's that. So take your $10 million, be between David Johnson and Devontae Freeman, and play football for a team that everyone is saying has no weaknesses. Well, you're creating a weakness, aren't you? And that's not good. You want to win a Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal that everyone says. Well, What are you holding out for? Take the money the Chargers are offering you. You're not going to get paid more than Todd Gurley, because we see how that works working out. Lots of question marks there. Todd Gurley, David Johnson, Devontae Freeman, LaShawn McCoy, Jerick McKinnon, all top 6 right there, all injury prone or been hurt with big injuries. Not just tweaking your ankle a little bit. McKinnon, ACL. LaShawn McCoy, every bone in his body. Devontae Freeman, leg injuries. David Johnson, broken his wrist. Missed half of the season. Le'Veon Bell, just a little bitch. Todd Gurley, knee injuries. See what I mean? So you thinking a trade's going to do you any good? We're going to go Houston and they're going to pay you? They have Lamar Miller. They know what it's like to pay and have an injury-prone running back. So there you go. The running back situation isn't like it used to be. So the holding out thing between Zeke blows my mind. Don't even know what he's doing. Crazy person. I think Zeke is a crazy person. I really think he is. And so does DMX. Melvin Gordon, though, on the other hand, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Get up in there and play some football. Take what the Chargers are offering you and try to win the Super Bowl. None of this BS. Speaking of BS, starting off on the wrong foot. Get it? Do you get it? Once again, Antonio Brown, he just cannot find a way not to be the center of attention, can he? Man. Once a problem, always a problem. Now he has foot issues. Why does he have foot issues? Well, how about this? How about cryotherapy, frostbite? Yes. Cryotherapy, frostbite. By the way, I don't know if you saw any of the Raiders version of the show, but his kids had no idea who Derek Carr was. One called him Derek Carter. And the other complained the whole time that Ben Roethlisberger was not there. So you tell me that Antonio Brown wants to be in Oakland. And now cryotherapy hurting his foot. Tell me that Antonio Brown wants to be in Oakland. That he convinced his kids, who's that? Who's Derek Carter? Who's Derek Carter? Oh, he's over there. Who's that? Where's Roethlisberger? Where's Roethlisberger? It was 15 minutes of that on that stupid show. 15 minutes of this kid's whining and complaining that Roethlisberger wasn't there. And who is Derek Carter? Derek Carter. I had to rewind. I put closed captions on to watch it over just to make sure. And yes, sure enough, they said Derek Carter. Antonio Brown is a nuisance. He's a problem. If you think him going to Oakland is going to be something surprising, they're going to be good all of a sudden, they're not. He's an issue. He's a problem. He's going to continue to be an issue and a problem. He is already. He cryotherapy generalized his feet to a point where he's injured. Why? Because people who cryogenize themselves want to live longer. Pew! His big head caused his foot problem. Nah, I have no idea. I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's some medically engineered things that people think, I said think, that does to make you a better person or stronger or something. Well, if it gives you frostbite on your feet, that's not necessarily true. But come on, man. Your kids are old enough to know that you're on the Raiders now and Derek Carr is your quarterback. Not Derek Carter. Where's Ben? Where's Ben Roethlisberger? Ugh. It's terrible. Terrible, Antonio Brown. I think I would like a month where I don't hear about you. That would show me that you were actually a true professional and you wanted to play the game for what it is and not just be like, oh, I'm Antonio Brown. Look at my stupid walrus hair and look at my feet. And I'm on the Raiders now. And my kids miss Ben Roethlisberger so much. Ugh, embarrassing. It's embarrassing, Raiders fans. Sorry. The first episode was embarrassing. It was a train wreck. Your team's still a train wreck. John Gruden has a nice speech. I'll give you that. But the rest of the episode, Hard Knocks. A train wreck. Speaking of train wrecks, the Rich Paul rule in NCAA. And LeBron James coming out and going, hey, everybody, this is stupid. Well, first of all, okay, hold on. Just give me a second to calm myself down, because this is the one thing I wanted to talk about that kind of went under the radar a little bit in the sports world this last week that not a lot of people may have heard. The one thing that really tickled my feathers. The Rich Paul rule, as LeBron James is calling it. What it is the NCAA pretty much saying, in order to be an agent for some of these kids that are coming out of college after one and done, by the way, so they're not even way ahead of myself. Slow down. But I'm always down for the one-on-one. You have to have a degree in college. Doesn't say what school though. Does the University of Phoenix count? Wait. Still ahead of myself. Hold on. Let me slow down. It's very open-ended rule. You have to have a degree in college in order to represent as an agent a basketball player or NCAA player going into the draft, the NBA draft. Wow. So, let's reiterate this again. The NCAA is trying to say you must have a college degree to represent and be an agent of a basketball player coming from the NBA as a freshman, going into the NBA as a freshman with no degree themselves to represent them in order to represent them. Why is LeBron James mad at this? Well, maybe because he never went to college. He doesn't even know what college is. I mean, he knows of colleges, but he doesn't know what it's like to go to college. Why? Because he's a phenomenon that went out before the rule, straight up. Rich Paul, his agent. Do you think LeBron James really gives a, pardon my word, shit about anyone else besides LeBron James? No. He's mad at this rule not because of the rule was made, because he doesn't care about any of the other agents or any of the other players in college. Guarantee it. Because Rich Paul would represent little Bronny Jr. That's right. Rich Paul would be the one to represent his son after he goes one and done at a Kentucky or a Kansas and moves on to the NBA. So he's all up in flames, all up in tears because the Rich Paul rule. Oh. All you give a shit is about getting your friend paid because your friend's going to represent your son. You don't care about anyone else. Just your son. There. With that being said, I agree with LeBron James. What? Yeah, because it's a stupid ass rule. Can we all come to a certain understanding that back in when being a college graduate meant something, when there was no Google, when there was no YouTube, when I couldn't look up any type of textbook I ever wanted online for free? Yeah, it meant something. Oh, you went to college, you learned, you graduated. Congratulations. You get a better job than people. Not anymore, really. Do you really have to go to college to prove yourself? I think college now is kind of a way for rich people or rich kids to being told what they have to do in order to succeed the old school way, to go and party for 4 years and graduate with a C, because it doesn't matter what your grade point average is in college. Nobody cares. They just care that you graduated from college. Isn't that funny? Colleges care that you graduate from high school and what your grade point averages is. No one cares what the fuck your grade point average is in college. They just care that you graduated college. Oh, well, half the classes are crap. You can take basket weaving. You can take tennis. All this stuff you got to do to graduate in a field where I could be smarter than you just from learning online myself. And by the way, if you hired someone in your business, would you want someone whose parents told them they had to go to college, who partied all the time and graduated? Or would you want somebody who took the time on his self, went online, and learned himself on his own time because he wanted to learn and wanted to be smarter in the craft? Who would you choose? I would choose the one on his own that did it, compared to the one who had more beer bongs than A's on tests. Just saying. So for the NCAA to put this rule in effect where your agent has to be a college graduate is absolutely 100% complete freaking crap. Crap. Especially when all your kids that are going to the NBA aren't even graduating college. And their agent has to? Because that person's smarter than the guy who maybe know more about agency rules and how to run a business because they did it on their own, because they're hustlers and they're smarter than the guy who did more beer bongs and smoked more joints than A's he got on tests in college. Because his parents could afford to send him there. College is expensive, man. Google's free. I never graduated college and I did okay learning myself the hard way because I wanted to be smarter than the guy with the polo shirt, popped up collar, and the hair with half of the clay in it, half drunk all the time. You're welcome. The rule is crap, and if that goes through, NCAA basketball is crap. It's done. If an agent is smart enough to represent and get money because he earned it the hard way from the streets, he deserved it. LeBron James, you're right. I don't think you know that you're right because I think you're doing it for your son and your friend to get him paid. But at the end of the day, a college degree shouldn't allow you not to own and have your own business in any type of industry, what it is. If you're smart enough and you know what you're doing and you have enough people around you that say, hey, you know what you're doing and want to be a part of it, a little piece of paper that has a signature of a guy who probably has done some shady stuff in his day. Didn't some actresses just get caught for paying a lot of money to get their kids into college? The signature of that person was the one who received the money from those actresses. So yeah, a little piece of paper that says, oh, I graduated college, so I deserve this, right? Is bullshit nowadays. Welcome to 2019, people. Enjoy it. Moving on. This weekend, I am so excited to announce the Premier League is back. Soccer is back. I am excited. Liverpool fan here, and I'm going to go quickly before we get our guest on and talk about some NFL football fantasy. I am going to be doing wager alarm picks and gambling picks, wagering picks, gambling, if you will, on wageralarm.com every week, saying who you should bet on in the Premier League and some soccer love as well. That's wageralarm.com. And also at wageralarm on Twitter. You'll see my videos, quick picks, talking about which teams to bet on, and all the information you need to help you win some money this year in that as well. But before we move on, it is fantasy football season, and that means the draft guide is here from Fantasy Alarm once again. 50% off instantly right now if you go to fantasyalarm.com/draft now. It is everything you want. Howard Bender is the man. He's the best in the business. The crew is the best in the business with Jonathan and Pemba and company by his side, including me. I'm even on that. I mean, come on. My bold predictions, and also did a mock draft where I think I crushed it. Do you think I crushed it? Well, you got to find out. You got to go read it and see what happened. You get 50% off right now. FantasyAlarm.com/draft now. The top sleepers and busts. No one else has them. The dominating strategies, accurate player rankings. Man, we're talking rookie rankings, free agency points, and a cheat sheet that has everything you can imagine, and rankings all the way top 200 dynasty plus IDP. Check it out right now. Boom, as we go. Okay, we're going to bring on Anthony Zaragoza right now at Zaragoza Anthony on Twitter, and we're going to play Are You Better Than a First Rounder? That's right. So we have kind of the ADP on a 12-person league of where people are going, players are going, and we're going to say what players we think could put up first-round numbers. Because right now with the whole Melvin Gordon and Zeke situation too, you never know. Some of these players can move in, be like, hey, man, I'm better than you now because you're trying to hold out for more money and you're a little bitch. So we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Anthony Zaragoza. What's going on, man?
Dude, you're fired up right now.
That college thing irritates me, man. Come on. You have to be a graduate from college to be an agent to own to represent a future NBA player. You're telling me that I have to go to college to own my own business? I don't think so, man. If I earned it and I deserve it, I deserve it. So you can go. I think the word is F yourself.
Oh Lord.
Oh, lordy, lordy.
No, yeah, that's kind of. I wonder what the backstory on that rule is. Something had to have made that an issue. I don't know if there's been shady agents in the past that I don't know have screwed college athletes in the past. I don't know. There has to be a reason why.
You're telling me that just because you went to college means you're not shady? I can tell you so many people that went to college, that graduated college, that are shady.
I'm shady.
Yeah, there you go. See, there's one right here.
No,
yeah.
Right here. I know. No, but what I'm saying is there has to be a reason. There's something that prompted it. I don't think it's the graduation part. I don't think they're trying to screw LeBron, which I don't know. Maybe LeBron thinks they're trying to get to him and his buddy, the agent, Rich Paul. But there has to be something there. I don't get it. I don't know how many guys it's going to affect in reality. But still, like when you make a ruling like this and it goes public, especially when college athletes are trying to get paid with all the amount of money they make in NCAA football and basketball, and then you make it harder to represent a college athlete now on the other end, like you're making enemies with the guys that are making you money. And I don't know if that's a good thing by the NCAA to do, but it's their world. I guess they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but isn't that, to me, that's going backwards, as I mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely going the wrong direction. I mean, there's only one direction. It's a band. They're awesome. Just kidding. But, I mean, come on. You can't tell me that there's nothing that tells me that that's a smart decision on any type of anything, ever, in the history of decisions, that just because you have a degree means you could represent a player or not. Like, that's saying you can't run a business or do anything in this free world we live in America, because you don't have a degree. Pretty much, that's what they're saying, and that's just wrong. But we got to move on from that. Yeah, you heard me. I went off a little bit. I was a little upset about that one. What I want to talk about real quick before we get an "Are you better than a first rounder?" Oh man, I'm getting some love right now. Okay, are you better than a first rounder? We got to talk about first round picks right now who are holding out, which I talked about earlier. Zeke and of course MG and Melvin Gordon. I took Melvin Gordon in 2 leagues before this happened at 5 overall. 5. And Zeke went 3 and 4 respectively in those same leagues. Do you take them now in the first round, even? Just be quick with it. You don't have to go detailed. Do you take them in the first round?
I can't risk that. For the simplest answer is Le'Veon Bell last year. I can't imagine many teams, unless you drafted James Conner or picked him up, that were successful. That's plain and simple.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. I think both players will end up playing week 1 for their teams. I really do. I really think it's just kind of like a foot in the water, seeing what's happened. But I mean, I pointed out the stats are there. The top paid receivers, running backs, just are injury prone, and injuries have hurt the stock overall. So I just think that eventually they say, okay, you're right. So what's a trade going to do? You think, what's a trade going to do? What is a trade going to do for Melvin Gordon? You think, he's going to trade and then magically the Houston Texans are going to pay him more because they traded for him? No. A trade isn't going to do anything. It's not going to get him more money. It's just going to put him on a different team. It's just dumb. I think ultimately it ends up being they both, obviously Zeke, because he has no one wants to deal with his off the field antics. I think he'll be okay. But Melvin Gordon, I think, ultimately will end up being on the Chargers week 1 playing.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about Zeke versus Melvin Gordon's on the last year of his rookie deal. Zeke still has another year with your option. I don't know how much leverage Zeke has. Outside of when the Cowboys haven't had Zeke, they've been garbage, beyond garbage. So that's his only leveling pitch in this whole situation. But he still has a 4th year. This is not even an option. Like, how much can he really pull against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon, it's his fifth year option. I could see them, just like with Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas held out. They figured out a deal. So I'm more reluctant to think that Gordon's going to sign. Zeke, I don't know what's going to happen there. That just seems like a cluster, like Le'Veon Bell. I don't know what he can do outside of losing a year out of his contract, lose all that money, and then he's going to have a 5th-year option before they can even franchise tag him. Like, that is such a huge mess.
It's a mess.
I don't think a lot of people were talking about.
But see, that's the type of person he is, though. Off the field too, he's a mess. He's a greedy, selfish kid. He's a kid still. He's not shown once that he could be an adult in the world, and he's still doing it now. Are you ready to play? Are you better than a first rounder?
I am better than a first rounder.
All right. Yeah. So what we're gonna do?
I am personally better.
So what we're going to do, we're going to be talking some fantasy football drafts right now. Of course, we are doing our Wednesday Night Rants fantasy football draft at the end of this month live, as I mentioned earlier. Anthony's in it. I still trying to sort out applications from last year. There's kind of a huge demand for it right now. There will be a few open spots. We're going to make it 14. We are doing the live draft. More on that next
14?
week. 14, man. People want to be in this thing. It was fun last year.
Dude, I have no chance then.
Well, you have no you have no chance if there's 4. So 14 is like a... So what we're going to do is this. And don't say Jay Ajayi, please. But we're going to do, I'm going to say, hey, running backs, and I'll say the same thing that you think could put up first-round numbers that people are not drafting in the first round, and also receivers. I'm not going to mention any tight ends or quarterbacks because I don't want to. But if you have any, you can mention them at the end. If you have any kickers, then Godspeed.
No, don't even say that word. That's foreign language.
Godspeed or kickers?
Kickers. Oh my gosh.
Okay, here we go. All right. Name a running back that you think could put up first round numbers that is better than a first rounder.
I don't want to be a homer, and I know it's coming. They're on a television show right now. I think you've heard of it. It's called Hard Knocks. I'm all in on Josh Jacobs. I know people are skeptical because he wasn't a full-time starter in Alabama. I know his talent or his his combine numbers weren't the greatest, but his opportunity and the way John Gruden and Mike Mayer are, they're old school. They're going to force feed him. All accounts right now from camp is they love what he's doing. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. All he has is Doug Martin and Jalen Richard. Like, there's not a lot of competition. So unless something happens, injury, he does something stupid, or he just struggles out of week 1, where you're getting him right now, running back 18, you're talking about, late 3rd-ish, early 4th, probably. I like the volume itself to make it in the top 12. So I'm all over Josh Jacobs. I got him in a bunch of leagues that we're in, and I know you're laughing at me, but just like that, but I'm all in, buddy.
Small fact, Antonio Brown's kids actually said, hey, is that Josh Jacobson over there?
Oh, my goodness.
I actually have him on my list of rookie busts, to be honest.
I know you do.
Yeah, I think that offense is going to be behind a lot, having to throw the ball a lot. And they got a lot of offensive options in the receiving core. And don't think running is going to be an option a lot for the not for this year, though. I think in a dynasty league, a good pickup. But for this year, I don't think he's going to put up Saquon Barkley numbers like he did last year as a first rounder at all. One guy I want to mention is Derrick Henry, a guy who's been taken in the 3rd or 4th round. Now let's not forget that after Matt LaFleur, who's now the head coach of the Packers, realized that, hey, if we give this guy the ball, we could win games. He finally did. It took him half a season. And he ate. He ate, and he was great. The rest of the season, I think the same thing. I know he's battling a little bit of an injury right now, but there's no one else there. I mean, Deion Lewis is not a workhorse. He's a pass-catching back. That's all they have. Marcus Mariota can't throw a deep ball, and I think if they're going to give him the rock, I think he could easily. I almost did. I couldn't, but I almost did put him in my bold predictions in the Fantasy Alarm Draft Guide to be the leading rusher in the NFL this year. That's how confident I am that Derrick Henry. And by the way, last year I was the only one in the bold predictions that said it would be the first time Derrick Henry has 10-plus touchdowns. And what did he do? 1-2, baby. He got 12. I was right on that one as well. I'm sticking with the Derrick Henry train. I actually drafted him in my Dynasty League. I love Derrick Henry. He could easily put up not just first-round numbers, top 5 numbers, man.
Oh, buddy.
Put it on the board. All right, who's another running back that you think could break the first round here?
You know what? It's going to be a guy that's going similar around Josh Jacobs, and I've been going back and forth in a lot of these leagues that I've been doing, but Kerryon Johnson. I loved him coming out of Auburn last year. What was that, a ooh for good or ooh for bad? Because you've been.
I like it. They got rid of Theo Riddick. They just got rid of Theo Riddick. Blunt isn't the thing anymore. He's kind of the man there. And one thing that they haven't had is I kind of like that sneaky little pick there. You know, I was all about him last year as a rookie. Remember during the preseason, I was texting you. I was like, watch this kid play. I love it, man. I love it.
No, yeah, I'm a big fan of Kerryon. I like the opportunity there. They did sign C.J. Anderson, but it's just C.J. Anderson. Outside of those couple games with the Rants last year, it wasn't much. He's like me. He likes to eat. He likes to drink. I can't knock a guy for that. That's my style. But that whole offense, I think now they're gonna be more pounding. They're gonna be more running the ball, and I feel like another guy when you're talking about running backs that are third, fourth, fifth round, volume is my key thing there, especially if they're gonna be your RB2 or even flex option. Hero Johnson's gonna have those touches. He's athletic. He can catch the ball. I love him right now in that third, fourth round range. I think he's RB like 15, 16. Mm-hmm. There's no reason I don't see him be top 10.
Digging deep, man. So you're telling me that if in your case, in a one quarterback league, you can go high receiver, and still get Jacobs and Johnson on your team and have two ace receivers with those two running backs and be fine. That's what you just told everyone right now.
Dude, I just fainted. You just gave me the dream scenario right now.
And you know me, I'm a get receivers whenever you can type of guy.
Oh, I've seen you do it several times already. I think you need to talk about that more often later. But I've been on the opposite end. If I can get two receivers, say DeAndre Hopkins, OBJ, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, whoever,
and then get those two guys,
Kerryon and Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
Cash that check, buddy. Cash that check.
Cash that money, baby. DMX is on board. All right. My other running back real quick, and I'll be quick with it, is a guy who is also in my fantasy alarm bold predictions, but for comeback player of the year. Let's not forget about Devonta Freeman, people. We're talking about a top 5 running back who had injury prone last year, has been handcuffed by Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman's now gone. They got Ito Smith, who kind of struggled. He's kind of a weird type of pass catching back, we think. We don't know. Qualsa Allison was terrible in the first preseason game on that they had. He's the guy, and reports say he's healthier than ever. And Devonta Freeman, when he's healthier than ever and getting the rock 20 times a game like he did that 1 year, he's a top 5 running back, easily a first round player. I have actually taken, get this, McCaffrey, Freeman, and Derrick Henry in my first 3 rounds in the league. What? And still ended up with some of the receivers I'm going to talk about later. Don't sleep on Freeman, guys. He's easily a first-round talent you can get in the second or third round this year. Running backs are a little deeper than they have been, too. It's pretty crazy. What do you think about that one right there?
No, I love it. And I think especially since Freeman probably hurt a lot of guys that got him in the second, third, there's going to be a lot of bad taste for owners. So if you get him in the third, imagine him in the third as your flex RB. There's no Tevin Coleman. The volume's going to be there. Oh, I love it.
How do you not like my McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Devonta Freeman trio of running backs in that league? Jesus. Good luck, people. Good luck. Moving on to receiver. Are you better than a first rounder? There's some of the receivers that are going in the first round, of course. Nuke himself, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, and then Tyreek Hill, after the suspension lift, has moved up into the first round along with Michael Thomas. Anthony. What are some of the receivers you're looking at that could be better than a first rounder?
See, I'm going to go a little more out on the limb. I'm going to get guys that are in the ADP of 20. Someone who I like, training camp, Braves have been there. He had a pretty decent season last year as a rookie that people aren't talking about, but DJ Moore. I think all the hype is on Curtis Samuel right now, but DJ Moore, if you look at his numbers outside of touchdowns, he had a solid season for a rookie season. 55 catch-ins, almost 800 yards receiving, only 2 touchdowns. But if Cam Newton, which is saying a lot, if he's back healthy, if that shoulder is back going, and if he's selling these tapes on Twitter with him throwing some deep balls, I like DJ Moore there. You're able to get him late 5th, 6th. So back to my dream scenario team. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs in rounds 3 and 4. Having DJ Moore as my flex guy in the 5th or 6th round, I'm eating it up, bro. I love DJ Moore in that spot.
You think DJ Moore is going to put up first round type numbers like Devontae Adams or dude? Jason Mono's laughing at you right now on Facebook. He just said laugh out loud, DJ Moore. DJ Moore is going to put up first round numbers.
The potential is there for him. I'm saying a lot of wacky things happen. Hey guys, we're talking about a guy who's going in the 5th, 6th round. I get it. Yeah, is it a little crazy? I'm going to go outside the box. And someone like that, I like the potential. Hey, people weren't drafting Devontae Adams until like the third, fourth round last year.
Second round.
I got him in several drafts in third round.
Okay.
But hear me out. The guy ended up being the number one wide receiver in fantasy football.
DJ Moore. It's going to be. All right. Hey.
The potential.
Okay. All right.
I'm not betting my house on it, okay? My wife's going to kill me. Sarah would kill me if I did that.
All right. Well, let's compare that to mine. I'm going with Amari Cooper.
Oh, come on.
As a receiver that could potentially put first round numbers right now going ADP in the 30s, so third rounder, that could put up first round numbers. And let's not forget that after he was traded to Dallas, you know who was right ahead of him? DeAndre Hopkins and then Amari Cooper after the trade to Dallas. There's nobody there, guys. He is the man, especially if Ezekiel holds out. It's going to be feed Amari Cooper, feed Amari Cooper, feed Amari Cooper. Easily in that offense. He likes it there. He's happy there. You show he gets the targets now, over 10, 11, 12 targets plus per game on average since he went to Dallas. Easily can put up first round numbers. We're talking 12 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, 80 receptions for Amari Cooper. That's first round numbers. That's what Devontae Adams did last year. What do you think about that?
No, you know Amari Cooper's my boy. And when I saw him get traded to the Cowboys, I was crying every Sunday night because all I heard from Cowboy fans in the California area was, "Thanks, Raiders. Thanks for the gift. Take our first round pick."
Now, Jason just asked, will Cooper be a top 3 wide receiver? Potentially. What we're saying here are players that aren't being drafted in the first round who could put up first round numbers. Cooper has the potential to put up first round numbers. For example,
he did for half a year.
He did, exactly. Once he was traded, he was a first rounder. He was right there with Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins stats after the trade. So therefore, by next year, you could be looking at Cooper as a 9th overall pick maybe after this year, because everything depends on it. That's what we're doing. What's another receiver that you like that could potentially put up first round numbers?
Okay, if you thought my first one was crazy, get ready for this one. Are you?
Jesus.
I know you're sitting down, but are you sitting down?
I am sitting down. If you say Mohamed Sanu, I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh my God! How did you know? I'm telling you, this is a guy who you're getting after DJ Moore. We're talking 6th, 7th round. That I feel like the way he played at the end of last season, a full year after a big injury, number 1 receiver, I feel like the potential is there to move up. And we're talking about guys in front of him are Cooper Kupps, the Robert Woods, these are Calvin Ridley's. These are number 2s, guys that have to share targets. That I could say easily he could have leaped over him. The guy I'm talking about, Allen Robinson.
Ooh, I like that. I've actually picked him up in a few leagues late too.
Yes, I think the potential there for him is huge. If people keep remembering the early of last season, which a lot of people do, they remember stuff that happened early 2018. They're not going to like him. He started to pick it up late in the season. The playoff game, you really saw him with that full health coming off that major injury. Him and Mitch are getting a real good connection. Training camp vibes are the same thing. They got a lot of good rates.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Are you like really good friends? Like, are you on a first name basis with Mitch Trubisky?
Yeah, that's my boy. He's Mitch, man.
He's just Mitch. Okay. All right.
That's my boy. I'm gonna even abbreviate to M. That's my boy.
Oh, okay.
M right there.
All right. Just making sure we're on the same page there. All right.
No, but yeah, Allen Robinson, wide receiver 28, ADP going late 6, 7. You get him back to my dream team. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. And if you come back with a DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, I love the potential on a squad like that. Allen Robinson, I think, has major upside this year.
Well, I'm going to tell you that in that league where I got Henry, Devontae Freeman, and
McCaffrey.
And McCaffrey, that's right. He's my first round pick. I also got Allen Robinson, Jarvis Landry, and Sammy Watkins. That's my 3 receivers in that. So I feel pretty good about that. But I always say receivers you can get. Another one I'm going to talk about real quick is Kenny Golladay.
Oh, Kenny G.
We're talking about a guy who's on an offense with Stafford who puts up numbers. Last year he played with a minor break in his back, but before that he's 4,000 yards guaranteed for 5 straight years. He throws the ball a lot, and Kerryon Johnson's going to really help that offense out throw the ball more. Remember Megatron? Well, Kenny Golladay could be Megatron and could easily put up 10-plus touchdowns, 1,400 yards, and 70-plus receptions in that offense. He showed a lot of it last year. And I think right now he's the 18th overall receiver. He could end up putting better than Odell Beckham, better than a Julio Jones type numbers in that offense, which is going to have to play from behind a lot, which I like to look at, and throw the ball a lot, which Stafford has also led the league in throws 2 of his years playing as a pro too. Kenny Golladay, don't overlook KG right there. I like that potentially as a new face of fantasy football receivers. What do you think?
Oh, I love Kenny G. I got him in a lot of my leagues. He's in that 5th round range. To have him as, always going back to your roster, as a flex option, number 1 wide receiver. I'm not a big Marvin Jones fan. Matthew Stafford, people are sleeping on him because this new offensive switch, but
another
Kenny
sleeper,
G
man. Yeah. Kenny G
is going to be. Kenny G is going to be playing that saxophone
in the end zone all day, baby. I love it. I love him as well. Also, some other receivers. I'm not going to give you any stats, but just saying that I like that could potentially put up some of those numbers is Tyler Boyd for Cincinnati, especially with the AJ Green injury there. Big potential there. And a guy who, Stephon Diggs. Let's not forget about Stephon Diggs. He's still young. He's only 24, people. He can still put up first-round numbers. Let's not sleep on Stephon Diggs as well. And my boy Keenan Allen, of course, can at any time put up numbers in the receiving. As far as running backs go, Leonard Fournette. Let's not forget about Leonard Fournette. He's a first-round pick a year ago. Let's not forget about him at all. And any other running backs, just real quick, without having to give up stats or anything that you think could potentially. I mean, obviously Aaron Jones is one as well. Phillip Lindsay is there. Delvin Cook, not really being drafted in the first round. Marlon Mack is on my list as well of guys that could potentially put up some big numbers. And T.Y. Hilton in the receiver, still not being taken in an offense that's potentially could be the most potent offense in the league. Could be Indianapolis this year. Let's not forget about T.Y. Hilton. Right? Anyone else stands out for you real quick before we go?
I'm going to go a tier behind the guys you just named. Mark Ingram in Baltimore. They're going to run the ball a lot.
But don't you think everyone's going to expect that and kind of load up on the box a little bit and not, you know what I mean? Like make Lamar Jackson throw a ball a little bit? Like what the Chargers did to them in the playoffs that made them look just like the dumbest team in the world. They absolutely destroyed them. They brought their safety and made him play linebacker, and they couldn't run and he couldn't throw, and they completely got destroyed in that game.
But then again, you have to remember, not a lot of teams have the talent that the Chargers have on defense. Like they're able to do that because they're so.
That's
flexible.
Also true. Yeah.
They are physical on that secondary. But yeah, I think there's gonna be some regression. People just fall in love with Lamar's last 5 games, think he's gonna keep doing that. Their teams are gonna force him to throw.
He's my quarterback bust of the year, Lamar Jackson.
I'm all for it. I am very nervous about him, but they're still going to run the ball a lot. Even if they do cloud the box, they're going to have to because he can't throw. The accuracy is not there for him. So I like Ingram for touches wise. I know they just drafted Justice Hill in this past draft.
Like him as dynasty league. There's a dynasty league sleeper right there.
Justice Hill. Sure with Ingram's age. But yeah, no, I like Mark Ingram there, especially later as far as a flex running back just because of the volume itself.
Love it, man. Hey, well, we're done. Boom, just like that. Are you better than a first rounder? I think we just helped people a lot tonight. So I hope you guys listened, hope you watched and enjoyed what we had to offer because there's some good stuff there of some players that we think, especially that I've been targeting too in a lot of these leagues, even dynasty leagues, because a lot of the young players like Golladay could be beneficial going forward for a long time, unless he retires early like Megatron did, which is kind of weird. But I mean, there's plenty of potential there. Devontae Freeman, I love Devontae Freeman and Derrick Henry. I'm all over them. And now everyone, I still have like 18 leagues I got to draft, and they all know now. Shoot. But hey, that's why we play the game. I'm here to actually help you guys and make you better fantasy players and enjoy sports more. That's why I do what I do. Anthony Zaragoza, thank you so much. You and I have a date tomorrow night, though.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait, buddy. Let's get it.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun talking fantasy football and putting some notes down and talking about how we're going to make this show and do stuff better for you guys in the future. It's going to be awesome, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us at Zergo's Anthony on Twitter. You have any plugs real quick?
No, just make sure when you're doing your home drafts with your buddies, always remember, bring a 12-pack Modelo's. That's all you got to do, buddy. That's my secret to the draft.
Bring some Modelo's. That's Anthony's big thing.
It's never failed me. It's never failed me, guys.
Yeah, sure. How many trophies you have? Oh, Modelo. That's the key to success there, guys. Modelo. Thank you, Anthony. We'll talk to you maybe next week, buddy.
Adios.
All right. Hey, thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. Again, I'm back. I had a little vacation last week. It's good to be back, everyone. Lot to talk about next week as well as we get closer to the NFL season. People are posting some funny comments on here. I love it, guys. Keep it going. Text me or send me messages about what you guys want to hear on the show going forward and all that type of stuff as we move into the football season. Next week, we'll be talking about some fantasy football. I'm going to talk about some dynasty basketball as it gets closer. A lot going on there, too, with all the trades and all the free agency and everything as we get closer to that as well. And of course, the league, the draft, the live draft. I'm like so excited I can't even say it. The live draft is coming up soon. Tune into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. More information on that will be next week. We'll have full details, a full list of everything next week on how that live draft is going down, who's in it, and how it's going to work out, and what the prizes are, and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. And of course, we'll see you next week. Always remember, you got to remember DMX agrees. Spay and neuter your pets, people.